No, I mean, if you turn on my tape, you're not going to see me slide very often. It might happen a couple times a year, honestly.
Hey, playing defense on offense. I love it.
Yeah.
Time to tune in. Now another sports center. It's a movement.
And folks, we have another star, another stud, another beast on the field. For the first time ever on the show, we actually have a quarterback on the show. I've had star linebackers, receivers, and folks standing right next to me, as you see the name on the screen, none other than Mr. Dustin Crum. Dustin, how are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Hey, it's a pleasure just to be in your presence. I heard about you, read articles, and you know, people go to a record store and they start going through records and trying to find old classics. And I found you. I was like, man, like 700 yards on the ground, 3,200 yards thrown in the air. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think 4 or 6 interceptions. I mean, just
somewhere in there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you're amazing. You're elusive. You're everything someone could want in a quarterback: poise, precision. So I'm super happy to have you on the show and to for the world to know your story. But let's kick it off with this. When did you fall in love with the game of football?
Honestly, as long as I can remember. I mean, I probably had my first set of pads when I was like 6. My dad actually coached at my high school growing up, so I was going to 2-a-day practices when I was a little kid, as long as I can remember, just being around the game. So I've really, I mean, all those high school guys when I was a little kid were my heroes. So really just being around it since when I was even, like I said, 4, 5, 6 years old, it's always been a big part of my life.
And it's nice, you know, for someone like yourself, you know, to play the game growing up, say, hey, this is what I'm going to do when I grow up, just be in the big league, and for you to be here today is amazing. And let me ask you, obviously, you know, you have this great high school career, fantastic college career, and now your football story is really just now beginning. The big draft is next month, right?
Yes, sir.
But let me ask you, what initially led you to choose Kent State? What did you like about playing there?
It was actually my only offer coming out of high school. Kind of picked it up late, and once I got it, I pretty much committed almost right away. I didn't want to miss my chance. I wanted to play at the highest level I could and compete at the highest level I could. And Kent was the only school that took a chance on me. So extremely grateful for the school and this place that gave me an opportunity to play the game I love.
When I watch you on tape, I mean, 1 minute you're taking off 30 yards upfield, then you're throwing it 40 yards downfield. I mean, it's just a lot of fun. When did you realize that quarterback is the position for you?
Honestly, I would say probably 6th or 7th grade. I mean, I always had my older brother, and we always used to roughhouse and stuff around. So I've always loved the physical side of the game. Always kind of thought maybe I'd be a linebacker or a safety. I mean, I always never been kind of one that's been scared of contact, but ended up kind of always being a little better at quarterback, I think. So it kind of became my thing right around that time, and kind of took off from there.
That's awesome. And you mentioned about a linebacker. I chuckle a little bit because there's a few highlights that I saw out there where you're on like the 3-yard line. Could have just slid, but man, you dropped that shoulder, man. You leveled him.
No, I mean, if you turn on my tape, you're not going to see me slide very often. It might happen a couple times a year, honestly.
Hey, playing defense on offense. I love it.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned that Kent State was your only offer.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, it's usually a family thing when people are helping support you. Were there any people who were in this story of yours that helped you get to where you are today, and maybe even mentors that you may have?
Yeah, I mean, I would say my family was definitely a big part of it. I have a great support system back home, really from a small town. So I kind of had the whole raised by a village type of childhood, and loved it there and wouldn't trade it for the world. And then honestly, once I got here, I mean, I still dealt with quite a bit of adversity and kind of had to go through a lot of things to end up having some of the success I had. So one of the guys here that helped me out a lot was Matt Johnson, really, really good quarterback for Bowling Green back in the day. If you go look him up or any of the things he accomplished. So just a fantastic player in college, but kind of having a guy who ran a similar offense and knew the position and played in the conference, and just having him to lean on. And I felt like he always believed in me was huge for me, kind of when I was able to finally kind of take that next step to be the guy here.
That's awesome. And I saw recently, I read an article you were working out with Pittsburgh quarterback Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
What was that like? Was that pretty cool?
That was awesome. I mean, he's a great guy and a great competitor. I felt like we tried to push each other every day and get the best out of each other. So honestly, we really became training partners. We pretty much did everything together, whether it was lifting, speed training, throwing, all the quarterback stuff. And like I said, we got pretty close through this process, and I mean that's been one of the coolest part of this process is some of the relationships and guys you meet. So it's been a lot of fun working with him and a bunch of other guys too.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah.
And Dustin, let me ask you. Obviously, growing up, we all have our favorite players. Growing up, you
Yeah.
played the quarterback position. Are there any
Yeah.
quarterbacks that maybe you model your game after?
I don't know if there's a specific guy that I try to model my game after entirely. I try to pick different things from different guys. Like I've always admired Drew Brees' accuracy and precision, some of the things he did. Whether it was Peyton Manning's mental abilities and some of the things he did pre-snap, whether it was Brady's competitiveness, his fieriness, different things. So you try to pull different things from different guys. I would say my guy kind of growing up that I loved to watch was Colt McCoy. I actually was a Texas fan up in Ohio. Yeah, he was my guy. So loved watching him. He was my favorite growing up. So he was kind of my dude. And then he came to Cleveland actually in his first team in the league. So that was kind of cool for me to see him there and get to. I went and actually got to watch him a couple times when he was on the Browns.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you grow up a Texas Longhorns fan?
I did. Yeah, I know. I couldn't tell you why. I mean, my whole family cheers for Ohio State. I mean, I think it probably has something to do. One of the first games I really remember watching as a kid and paying attention and kind of knowing what was going on was that USC Texas Rose Bowl in 05. So that was right around when I started kind of really locking into football, I think, and watching that game. So I think I kind of became a Texas fan through that. And then Colt kind of took over, and he was the next generation. So he was my guy.
That's awesome. And that's a great guy to really look up to. I mean, you look at Colt, whether it be in interviews, how he is on the field and also off the field, how he carries himself. I mean, he's a high character guy and a great locker room guy, great supporter too. And let me ask you, obviously every year, whether it be quarterback, whether you're a punter, third string punter, if those exist, wherever the NFL critics, they're always going to have crazy stuff to say.
Yeah.
Are there any parts of your game that you feel are maybe areas of improvement maybe you could work on?
I would say the biggest things for me is just technical things. I mean, you can always try to clean your feet up as a quarterback. I mean, I think even if you look at some of the best guys to do it, I mean, most of the time, if you see a miss, it's because of their feet or their base or their balance or things weren't right. So you always want to improve in that area in that regard. I mean, anything you can do to quicken up your release, just little detail things like that. Because I mean, at this level, it's the minute little things that really separate guys, and so just being able to do that and continue to improve in those areas would be huge for me.
Game day, we see oftentimes there is a huge correlation between music, locker room culture, and the football field. What's in your headphones on game day?
Honestly, I used to be a classic rock guy, really kind of pump myself up. But honestly, I think in college, I kind of switched a little bit. I almost kind of became a no music guy because I just wanted to be so in tune and locked in mentally as to what was going on rather than just try to kind of amp myself up almost for a quarterback perspective. So that was kind of something that I trended and got to, I guess, throughout my college career. I mean, every once in a while now I'll throw some music on, but nothing really, not like I said, kind of try to pump you up or in the zone type of music, more so just music to relax type of stuff. Because I mean, as a quarterback, I mean, you have so much just emotion and adrenaline going already. I mean, for me, it's always been bigger just to be locked into every little detail you can be.
Absolutely. I can't remember who it was I was interviewing recently. They said they listen to classical music. Very
I'm
relaxed.
not that extreme with it. I mean, if I'm trying to relax, I might listen to like some country or something like that. But like, I don't know if I could turn on any Beethoven.
Yeah, I know. Hey, DJ, spend some Beethoven over here. Yeah. Awesome. Now draft it's a few weeks away. Any plans for draft day so far?
I'm not sure yet. Might either probably be with my friends here in Ken or maybe back home with my family. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do for it.
Gotcha. And then obviously right now there's a lot of NFL interviews going on, a lot of coaches interviewing players. Has there been any left field questions that ever caught you off guard?
I haven't had any too crazy ones. I don't think, honestly, I don't have any super crazy ones. I think probably the weirdest one I had so far, honestly, was normally they'll kind of ask you a little bit about yourself, your background, some things like that. But I had one interview where I sat down and the guy just looked at me and said, "Tell me about your dad." I just right as soon as I sat down, didn't ask me my name, didn't say anything. So that one caught me off guard a little bit just because the way he jumped right into it. And usually that'd be something that like they just say, tell me about your family or some of your background. So not the craziest question, but just kind of the way he just opened up with it and kind of came right at me. I was a little caught off guard with it.
Yeah. I've heard some weird stories like, what's your favorite color?
Yeah.
What are you eating for breakfast? I mean, it goes on.
Yeah. They like to play some mind games with you.
Yeah, there's some psychology to it for sure. Awesome. And then what are some of your favorite workouts that maybe whether it be by yourself or with Kenny Pickett that you have been currently working on to help take your game to the next level?
I don't know. I would probably say some of the ones I enjoy most, just because you can push yourself physically, some like doing like circuit type stuff, some up tempo lifts, trying to push the pace of it a little bit, just because you can really push yourself mentally a little bit rather than just maybe doing a slower pace lift or doing something like that. So really anything where you can push yourself mentally, try to get to that really spot where you just feel good at the end of the workout and feel like you kind of just improved.
And you mentioned a lot, Mr. Crum, about family and the importance of family. Seems like you're probably a charitable guy. Any charities you're looking, or maybe community involvement once you get to the next level?
I don't know yet. I did a little thing with Uplifting Athletes, which is a little charity for rare diseases. I did something with them for the combine, raised some money for that, which I know a lot of my friends and a lot of college athletes do, which was cool to be a part of for sure. It was a great experience. But I haven't really set my eyes on anything or set up anything really solidly yet for once I take that next step, but definitely something I'll be interested in doing for sure.
It's always good to get back to the community and especially give people hope who may not have much hope, really means the world to people. And then my last question of the day, obviously people see the man on the tape, people watch the NFL teams who are watching this interview or have interviewed you already, they're getting to know you. What's something you want NFL teams to know about you that they may not know about you already?
Yeah, I think some of the biggest things about me is just my competitiveness, my mental toughness, and some of the skill set that I bring to the table with my game. If you look at like kind of some of the things you've touched on my tape, I can do a little bit of everything. I'm not gonna be the most athletic guy in the field, but I can definitely use my athleticism if I need to. I can have the arm strength to be able to push the ball where I need to on the field and do those things. And I take a lot of pride in being one of the toughest dudes on the field and being the most prepared every single week when I step on the field. So I try to really kind of cover all aspects and make sure I'm being able to be a vocal and leader by example as any quarterback should. So just being able to kind of have that type of accountability and hold yourself to that standard week in and week out, something that I think is a big part of the reason I had success in college.
Well, Mr. Crum, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to come share your story. Any shout outs before you go today?
Yeah, just got to shout out my boys back in Grafton, the hometown. Honestly, some of my guys here, Isaac, AJ, Xavier, KJ, all my roommates that have helped me along the way. So just thankful for all them boys.
Awesome, Dustin, thank you so much again. And folks, go down below in the description of this video. I'll have his social media stuff so you can follow his story. I promise you will not be left short. It's very inspiring. And then bust out the popcorn, because I'm also going to have the link to a YouTube channel that's going to have all his highlights, all that good stuff. And man, let the Dustin Crum Show begin.
Yes, sir.
Dustin, thank you so much again. Y'all have a great night. Make sure you subscribe. Catch you next time. Touchdown with Dustin.
Turn 100 for the touchdown. King crown, gain inside, leading your town. Hit you faster than the sound. Bad boy, throw it down. Yeah, I'm ill, not my will. Don't cop a fill the house. Listen to the roaring crowd. Drop a light, calm it down. Heisman, all the haters mouth. Superhero hit them wow. Packing more action than bing, boom, bam, pow. Touchdown for the win. We live, subscribe right now.